I never thought I'd hear my own son lock me in. Not slam the door in anger. Not walk away mid-argument. No. I mean the metallic click of a deadbolt, turned from the outside. While I stood trapped in the dark basement of the house I raised him in. The sound didn't echo in the room. It echoed inside my bones. And the most terrifying part? My husband didn't panic. He leaned in close, his voice barely a whisper, and said something that made my blood run cold. Quiet. They don't know what's behind this wall. That was the moment I realized this wasn't an accident. It was a plan. And my son was part of it. The basement smelled like dust and cold concrete. The light buzzed overhead. That faint electrical hum you don't notice until everything else goes quiet. One moment my husband and I were walking down the steps, carefully, slowly. Our son had called us down there, worried voice said there was a leak behind the wall. The next moment, clang. The door slammed shut. Then the sound that shattered something permanent inside me. Turn. Up. I rushed forward, hands shaking, twisting the knob. Locked. From above I heard footsteps. Quick ones. Light. Almost satisfied. My daughter-in-law. Then slower steps behind her. My son. I opened my mouth to scream. But my husband's hand closed gently around my arm. Firm. Steady. Don't, he whispered. I looked at him, eyes wide, chest tight, heart racing so hard I thought I might faint. He wasn't afraid. He was ready. And that terrified me more than the lock ever could. Strange what your mind clings to during moments like that. Not the betrayal. Not the fear. But memories. My son's first steps across this same basement floor, wobbling, laughing, arms reaching for me. The day he scraped his knee and cried like the world had ended. The day he got married. She smiled too wide that day. Held his arm too tight. And when she hugged me, her eyes never softened. She looked at me like I was already in the way. I told myself I was imagining it. Love makes excuses for its own destruction. They moved in temporarily. That was years ago. No rent. No bills. No responsibility. We cooked. We cleaned. We paid. At first they were grateful. Then comfortable. Then entitled. The tone changed. Requests became expectations. Expectations became resentment. And resentment became planning. I noticed the signs first. The phone calls that stopped when I entered the room. Documents disappearing from drawers. My husband's medications being reordered. By them. Not us. Whispers behind closed doors. And then I heard her laughing one night. Clear as day. She thinks the house is hers, my daughter-in-law said. Once they're out, everything is ours. Not gone. That word stayed in my mouth like poison. I found the envelope by accident. Legal letterhead. My husband's name. Crossed out. A new power of attorney. My son's signature already printed. He didn't even flinch when I confronted him. Dad's getting old, he said. And you two. We're helping. Helping. By erasing us. By replacing us while we were still breathing. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just watched him walk away. And I realized something terrifying. My son wasn't confused. He wasn't manipulated. He had chosen this. That night I told my husband everything. He listened quietly. Then he nodded. I knew this day would come, he said. That was all. But I recognized the look in his eyes. The look of a man who had been preparing for betrayal long before it arrived. So we waited. We played the parts they wanted. Confused. Forgetful. Weak. We let them take control. Because confident enemies make careless mistakes. The night they locked us in, after their car pulled away, after silence settled, my husband knelt beside the far wall. He pressed a single uneven brick. It shifted. Behind it was a steel lockbox. Inside, original property deeds. Our Real will. Bank accounts in our names only. And a recording device, filled with weeks of conversations. Every whisper. Every plan. Every betrayal. For 39 years, my husband said, I prepared for someone to try to take everything. Then his voice cracked. I just never thought it would be him. The next evening they walked into the living room laughing. Then they froze. We were sitting in their seats. My husband slid the recorder across the table. Play already pressed. Their voices filled the room. Plotting. Laughing. Planning us out of existence. My son whispered, Where did you get this? I met his eyes. From behind the wall you locked us behind. Sirens wailed outside. My daughter-in-law ran. My son didn't. He just stared at the floor as the cuffs closed. The house is quiet now. Peaceful. My husband sits beside me, hand warm in mine. We didn't lose a son, he says softly. We uncovered the man he chose to become. Maybe the greatest betrayal isn't what they did. It's who he allowed himself to be. Justice isn't sweet. It isn't bitter. It's clean. And as I close the basement door behind me, I whisper into the dark. He found out who took his place. And it wasn't another man. It was the truth. Sometimes revenge isn't loud. Sometimes it doesn't scream. Sometimes it just waits, until the truth is impossible to escape. If this story sent chills down your spine, hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories where justice arrives exactly on time. And tell me in the comments, what's the most shocking betrayal you've ever witnessed? Until next time, stay sharp.